Water is done.
And you get a discount.
Yeah. This year only. 1 year.
No, if you're of a certain age, I get it every year. I get
On
20%.
the owner? On owner?
Yeah.
Oh, because the owner get 90%.
Oh, you get 90% off?
Yeah.
For 1 year.
It's a great deal
That's
for your first year.
So,
Should make Aliyah again.
so, but I guess it's me as soon as you said, I'm so, what's the percentage?
It's a little less than 90%, huh?
And then the Maccabi too is done.
They're all settled.
I just had my colonoscopy. Yes. Always fun. Always.
Okay. There were books, but I don't know where they are, so. This is all. Remember your name?
Anna.
Anna.
I'm gonna give it to Micha because my Hebrew is not to the level.
Okay. You want one anyway? No? Okay.
I think sometimes I can just looking at
Micha, you think you're going to be around next week? On Sunday?
The plan to
I'm asking because you asked a question last week, and I gave you an answer, and then since then I found the Rebbe give you an answer also.
okay.
You remember the question?
If I look at this from last week, maybe I will. I don't remember it off the top of
You
my
asked,
head.
you asked something about Yerida, like how can we say that we're going down?
Oh, yes.
That was the whole conversation.
At the same time that we're saying
Right,
we're
exactly.
prostitutes as
So what I would like to next week, I'd like to learn the piece where he addresses that, and it's actually tied into Shavuot. So next week we'll be doing a Shavuot focused learning.
Great.
Inspired by Micha's question from last week.
You guys were having Shira on
It is Yom Yerushalayim. We're having Shira. Well, it'll be post.
Motzai.
It'll be
That's right.
Motzei Yom Yerushalayim.
I hear it's a big event. Big parade and stuff. And this is gonna be the epicy. The next day or so. It'll be confluence of good times.
Okay, so we're going to be learning tonight. The Piaseczna Chassidut. We're going to be looking at a sefer that we haven't looked at so much together here, B'nai Machshava Tova. This sefer was a pamphlet that the Rebbe wrote and distributed in his lifetime to a couple, I don't know how many, but some like hand-select students. It wasn't initially meant to be a published work, not publicly like it is now. Over time, the copies got carried over to Eretz Israel. People started putting it out. The publishers write this in the beginning. They decided, well, Imkfar, people are putting out versions of it. Let's put out the correct version. It doesn't have like mistakes and edits like that and whatnot. From what I understand, it's actually a sefer that he wrote before the Chsharat HaAvrechim, the Mavah Sharim, the books that we were looking at the last couple of weeks. And it's very much focused on, say, practice. What we've been looking at, and especially in the Mavah Sharim, the last couple of weeks, that was a lot of the sort of conceptual framework of what is Chassidut, what is the Avodah Chassidut, what does it mean to, how do we serve God in this newer, more recent stage of evolution. and spiritual history, if you will. And this book, like his other books that he wrote later, are very much about the Lamaisa, the practical steps of what do you do? How do you tap into that? How do you apply those teachings and practice them? And the book itself is really meant to be for people to organize themselves into groups that are going to meet regularly a couple times a week to help each other come close to God, help each other develop and grow and share their struggles, share their strengths, etc. So that's not us. We're learning every week, but we're not holding by his conditions that he lays out in the beginning of the book. But we're handpicking one chapter from among many. So just to frame like where we're coming in, we're sort of jumping in the middle of something that has a lot that's developed before it, and I'm going to do my best to try to fill in whatever background info might be missing from the text we're going to read. And specifically, the reason I wanted to look at this tonight is because we've been looking at this chapter in Mavah HaSha'arim about what the Rebbe says, the light that is within the kelim. How do you uncover the light in the kelim? How do you show that the kelim, the vessels, the materials of our life, of our earthly, day-to-day, embodied existence, how do we show those things to be holy? How do we experience those things as holy? And here he's giving us some guidance in how to, not just the what. Okay, and let's read, and you'll see he's exquisite in his poetic way of speaking about it, and also some we'll see here's very, very powerful language he uses to describe what these internal movements within us are. Okay, so we're starting with Od Yud Aleph. I think you all have it there. Yeah. What the Rebbe's been basically developing until this point is, I'll say it al regel echad, is that there's a part of the soul called the nefesh. We have a couple names for the soul, and each one basically is a description of a different part of our being. The nefesh is, the Torah itself says that blood is nefesh. Okay, the Torah says Adam hu nefesh. That's why, by the way, when we slaughter animals, we have to pour the blood into the earth. So we soak it to remove its blood. It's because we're consuming the flesh, not the nefesh. And the nefesh is basically the part of soul that animates the body. If you think of what blood does to your body, we're calling that a part of soul. So your body is living, functioning, moving, God willing, on its own. I'm not driving that process. I'm not making my heart. I'm not making the blood flow and do its job. My body is being enlivened. What is it that's enlivening my body? That's the nefesh. So beyond just the physical quality of the nefesh, it's also connected to the emotional realm. Because another word we have for emotions is feelings. Because when you feel something, you feel it in your body. It's not just, an emotion isn't an idea. Emotions have physiological components to them. Emotions have, how do you even know what you're feeling? You know from what you're experiencing in your body. So the emotions too are activity of the nefesh. And so what the Rebbe's been developing until now is showing different ways that we can arouse our emotions and connect with our emotions as a vehicle towards that. Just the emotions themselves as we feel them. And if you remember the chapter we saw in these last couple of weeks, he quoted similar idea, but he quoted, for example, the Chozeh Milublin, who said, if you're coming to daven and you want to daven with love for God. Chozeh the Magid, I think it's the Chozeh. No, it's the Chozeh the Magid. That think about things you love. conjure up that thought of, your children, your money, remember this stuff? And let that feeling get aroused in you. Once the feeling is aroused, so you have the feeling, you can let go of the particular, the money, the this, the that. You're already in touch with your nefesh. You already have a platform to talk to God and to God in a way. So what he's been talking about now is about getting our emotional world activated and using that as a way to connect to the nefesh and to God. So let's jump in. Od Yud Aleph. Harbe hargashot yeshnan sheptichatam banu hem kipoter mayim. There are many hargashot, many feelings, who begin within us like poter mayim. It means basically like a drip of water, with just a small opening. Kalot ukushot. It's very mild, very gentle, and it's a weak view. The image of water, imagine just a very weak drip. If we were to expand, broaden one of these openings and bring it out, it would become a mighty river, and rivers, streams of water that won't ever dry up. But if we don't expand that beginning, that kind of weak signal, the beginning of an emotion, we don't open it up and expand it, it will be lost. It will never come to see the light of day. Tonight he gives a great, just very practical example of this. There's times when a person feels a little bit uncomfortable, just kind of some internal discomfort. And we don't know, do I need to eat something? Maybe I need a nap. Maybe I need to get a drink. Here, yain tzaraf, an alcoholic drink. A cocktail. And then the feeling gets basically swallowed back into it. In Hachsharat Avreichim, when he talks about something similar, he says, maybe start talking to people around you, start making jokes. Basically, I feel some kind of inner discomfort, and I seek something to kind of be a salve for that. Uve'emet, zot hayta min hoshatat ever me'ivrei haneshama achutza. The truth is that this slight discomfort that began as just a mild feeling was a limb of the soul stretching itself outward. Shiratzta lihitpa'el, that wanted to be activated. V'lachshov machshava tehora, and to be brought to clear consciousness and awareness. It wanted to be brought out into the open and known with clear consciousness. So I think we can all understand why drinking or eating or napping or watching a show or whatever, when we feel some kind of little discomfort, it just kind of closes that opening back up. I'm thinking like the entire entertainment industry is basically built on this. There's good there too, but it's like the industry piece of it, the money piece of it. It's like that we always need something to fill that in. It could even happen, not just from a discomfort. Maybe you just feel jolly, you're happy, or I think he's saying here, just kind of a positive emotion, a positive feeling. Since that feeling isn't, it's not enclosed by some kind of worldly garment. I'll explain this in normal English. For what it is a limb of the soul stretching itself outward. So we're not even aware what is that feeling. So, for example, I might wake up one morning feeling good, but I'm not gonna start to I'm not gonna come to that feeling with some great awareness and expand it and open it up and allow it to become this great ecstatic emotion. I'm just like, okay, I feel okay today. I don't ask why. I don't know why. I don't think about it. I think what part of what he's describing here, whether it's discomfort, whether it's elation, happiness, contentment, whatever, what have you, the kind of emotions that just move within us, we basically, even the way I said it, it's as if they just move within us. It's just like, okay, there's just kind of like some internal sea of feeling that does its own thing. And there's times when it's really explicit and clear, but most of the time, my emotional state just kind of moves on its own, and I deal with it, or don't deal with it, but it's kind of just there. And what he's saying here is, no, there's an essential piece of you that's communicating, that's showing itself, that's reaching outward and wanting to be known. And because we don't even have the frame of mind to consider that, so we basically live a life that shuts it away, that closes it up once it starts to trigger. So we don't know what it is. What it is that we feel inside. It was a kind of a jumble, a fluttering of the soul. And I go and get a drink. Or I eat something, I just do something else. I just look for another thing of the known stuff in my life to do.
So it distracts me.
Right. So he's about to say, I didn't quiet that movement of my soul. I actually turned up the volume. I don't know what this word shisa. I think it means to unleash, to let it loose. You've rather than saying you've quieted the feeling, you've misdirected and unleashed hargashot gufo, the feelings of the body in a way sheyar ishu v'yar imu, to make them be really loud and dominate. The kol hanefesh lo yishameh, so that the voice of the soul cannot be. I was talking to some of the guys last week who I teach at a different point of the week. We were learning this piece recently, and he brought up, you have a drink to chill out. And it's like, I think what he's saying is like what we call chilling out is making something else go louder. So that it's not, there's obviously an element of like that alcohol and other things can have to just kind of like quiet. But what he's saying is what's happening internally, the real voice inside, you're not quieting. You're turning something up to cover it. Which means to separate. Isn't that with an ayin?
Maybe.
Like split hooves, I think is with an ayin.
Yeah.
I think it means the adjective. We'll look it up. We'll all do our homework.
But just to ask about this, so it seems like he's saying not that what, if you have the drink, what you are amplifying is the goof over the nefesh, right? So, just to clarify, so that even if the nefesh is a thing that it's more like a bodily sort of soul, but it's not.
But it's not
the body.
It's not limited to what we know with our body. For example, I'm glad you're bringing this up because. And it's hard for me to kind of like distill this. I'm going to try, and if it doesn't go, we'll just move on. But because this is a lot of what he's spoken about in the chapter before this, is this idea that just our basic training in life and our basic survivalist set of skills, we come to accept our most basic encounter with the reality around us as what is true and real.
Mm.
Yeah? Stuff, things, I don't know how else to say it. It's like what we see and know and can make sense of in the world around us. And part of what he's been trying to talk about here is there's a whole inner world that's not really defined by that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like maybe you don't know how to make sense of it, but what we do over time is we learn how to really just turn the blinders on. Is that what we say? On to stop. We just stop noticing it because it's like it just doesn't exist for us anymore. We've made some kind of instinctive. I wouldn't even call it a choice. Our instincts have led us to not pay attention to those things because they're not going to help us get through the day. They're not going to help us pay the bills. They're not going to help us get a meal. They're not going to help us survive. But that whole inner world, what he's been saying tonight, he's like, you want to connect to what we call soul. You want to have a taste of what we call ecstasy or something holy in your life. Well, you have a whole set of experiences that you're ignoring. That set of experiences is a you that exists in a much more boundless way than how we're going through. And so he's trying to teach us, how do I broaden the picture? How do I start to pay attention? I mean, I think most of us stop around kindergarten. If you're lucky, you make it to kindergarten with the stuff. And throughout the book and throughout all of his books, by the way, he always uses children as his like prime example to tell us what he's trying to talk to us about. And who did he learn with? He had a school for children. But did I answer your question a little bit? Like this, I was trying to explain how nefesh and body interact here. I know this part of, I can access this broader identity through my body, through my emotions. It's not like I have to become some kind of like otherworldly mystic to do that. It's there within me, and I have stopped knowing how to connect with it.
Isn't that ruach, though, the spirit of yourself? Ruach.
Let's not get into the technical terms. We're talking right now about nefesh in terms
spirit. Of it's a spirit.
You can. They're all. It's a kaleidoscope. Everything is another iteration of it. But what he's talking about right now is that the reason it's nefesh is because the access point is in the most immediate level of experience. You feel your stomach is starting to turn, so you think you need to eat something. Your stomach's actually starting to turn because you're anxious about something. Maybe you don't even know what the root of your anxiety is. Maybe you don't even know that you're anxious. All you know is that, man, that doesn't feel good. Let me get a sandwich. That we're talking like we're trying to talk very tachlis and about things that are way beyond tachlis on that level. So it's nefesh, and yeah, it's connected to like all of what we would call the parts of your spirit and soul. But it's through that basic point of contact.
I believe the word hasit and shasad is insight.
So hasit, isn't it hasit to yeah?
What I believe what he's saying here is that we fan the flame, so to speak, on the physical side, so that raises the volume, rather than.
I hear that. Yeah, and even on just like a physiological level, the food gets my blood and heart rate moving in a certain way, and like my brain chemistry, like it affects me in a way that's even how, no matter how subtly, on the internal level, it's a lot of noise covering up the other things that I didn't even know I could. So just listen to the mashal he gives, because he gives a parable here that is very intense and also very telling as far as how he understands this relationship between my awareness, what I'm paying attention to, what I'm aware of, and what's going on inside. Mashal, like he's just talking about turning up the volume of the body to cover the voice of the soul. Mashal likomrei hamolech. There was a religious cult in biblical times called Molech. We have specific mitzvah in the Torah not to sacrifice your children to Molech. Molech was a god who people, the worship of this Molech god was to kill their children in the name of religious devotion. Mashal l'komrei hamolech says this can be likened to the priests of Molech. Shehaku b'tupim, they would beat on the drums. L'man lo yishma ha'av hamayat b'no hamitchanen miben lahaveh, so that the father would not hear the calls of his son who is begging for rains. It's shocking. It's awful. Read to the end of the sentence here. Hagashot gufaniyuto ra'ashot kokach. Those bodily arousals, not the ones that are coming that the nefesh is activating, but the ones that we then turn the volume up on, they're so loud, ad sheidat nefesh overet levatala, so that to the point where the quaking, the trembling of the soul becomes totally lost, it passes away. Hapalat niflalim shel neshama, becomes like a stillborn death of the soul. There was some inner quality that wanted to be born, wanted to be birthed, brought to life and to light, and we continue to slash and quash that potential life to I want to come back for a moment to also that awful parable of the Molech. Just think about what he's saying here. Just think about the relationship he's setting up. The child, in this all these instances, the nefesh is the child. The nefesh is either the child who's being brought through the drumming priests or the child who's waiting to be born. And the parent is the awareness. I've seen this, I can bring it at maybe another time. He sets this up in a few different ways. He oftentimes will set up this dynamic where our consciousness, he gives a parable, comparison to the parent. Our nefesh, he gives is compared to the child. And just think about the relationship between a parent and child. Like if a child wants, for the child's development, they need the parents to, at the most basic level, pay attention to them, do what they have to say, give them an arena to speak and express themselves, and then help develop whatever that need is. And on some level, our job as bearers of our own soul is to parent our soul, to be the parent for our nefesh. The other thing I want to say is that he's such an intense mashal here that our inability or refusal to do this is like the prime form of Avodah Zarah, is idolatry. You hear that? Like this is like the Av Tipus. Like this is the idol worship that the mission of Abraham and Sarah and our Avot and Imahot were brought into the world to give a new direction, to teach something different. And it's just so profound that where is the locus of religious life? Where is the locus, the central place of spiritual life? Between me and my nefesh. That's where it takes place. That devotion is internal. And I'm focusing on this because this is like And amud, this is a prime pillar of everything else, of everything that you do. And he says it in such a revealing way here. And I'm not saying it's also that we should beat ourselves up because of all the times that we do this. This is like how we're wired. That he's bringing it to light so that we can understand. We can understand what we're missing out on, and we can understand like, oh, this is something within me that then makes it, if not less scary, then more doable, more accessible, closer. Let's read on. Yes, וזאת מזהרת ומכרזת חברתנו לכל אחד מחברינו. For this reason, our group, remember this book is addressing the group, calls and proclaims to every one of us, know how to observe. But it's more than know. Get yourself to know how to see, how to observe, how to watch, how to notice. And in everything that moves, that stirs within you and outside of you, learn to know how to watch it, how to see it. Seeing, histaklut here, watching, it's not just vision. It's not just I can see what is here. It's not just seeing the thing that is there. It's a kind of birth. It's engaging in a process of birthing and bringing out that which we will then be able to behold, to see. On some level, what we call seeing, he's saying that is not the seeing. The kind of seeing he's talking about here is engaging with an experience in such a way that allows it to be shown to us. I use the word behold. There's another kind of seeing. It's a beautiful English language that behold means to see something. Behold, right? Like be and hold as one word is a kind of seeing. That's the kind of seeing he's talking about. And that kind of seeing happens as a product, if you will, of through this process of a kind of midwifery. It's connecting with what is right now, and like that beginning point, that it's just a small trickle of water, or it's just a glimmer of something, and I don't fully know what lies within, but I'm staying with it, and I'm gonna sit with it and allow it to open up and open up and open up till I can see it. That's the totally. That's the flip side of that miscarriage that he's talking about. The flip side is midwifing it until it becomes to life. Surat hadavar anu motziim umolidim ad shtiyeh tzura shnistakel ba. The form of that which we're looking at, whether it's something inside of us or something outside of us, we bring out and birth until it takes on a form that we can look at, that we can see. Meaning, at the first point is, I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know what I'm feeling. I don't know what I'm feeling. I don't know what's happening here, but I feel something. It's only going to become a tzura. It's only going to have a form if I can engage with it long enough for it to show itself. And And somebody who feels some kind of feeling, tzarichu lihistakel, needs to do this istaklut, needs to this kind of beholding, this kind of looking. Klomar lehotzi batzura lihistakel b'tzurat hagasha. To that means to say, to bring out from it a form, to be, and then to look upon the form of that feeling. It feels a little like boxy to me to even give it these words. The form of like that word form feels a little too material to me. But in a sense, how do I come to know that feeling that starts off as some kind of really unknown quality? I allow it to become more. The tzura, the form that it takes on. It's not, oh, okay, now I see it's a pink square and it's got like 4 little stripes. Like the whole thing he's talking about here is, how do I begin to see things that I can't see? How do I begin to become aware of the things that I stopped paying attention to because I didn't know what to make of them? It's kind of on like, I don't know, when I read the stuff, the best kind of ways I can relate to it is the kind of thoughts that went through my mind as a kid. I was like a very young kid, you know, like just how you look at the world around you. Like you don't take it as givens. You just kind of like anything can be there, you know, and whatever, and the imagination and reality, the lines are blurred. So he's teaching us a little bit, how do I open and activate that part of my consciousness again that's willing to see things, that's willing to not just run based on my previous assumptions of what I've figured out about this stuff and how unimportant it comes to me, or even how important I've decided is and not more, but too low. Yeah.
Yeah, the center of like spiritual life is between me and my nefesh. Who am I? We are not our nefesh.
You want me to give you an answer? Or do you want to just sit with the question and come up with your own answer? I'll tell you my, because I said that sentence, right? So it's my fault. It's not to say that there's like a defined point, like, oh, that one is me and that nefesh is not me. It's we're multi-layered. Here we're talking about the conscious and the conscious part and the felt part, the awareness and the feeling. But it's deeper than that. It's I would say, and I don't know if this word does any justice to it, but on some level, this whole thing is talking about the process of uncovering and becoming more and more of myself. More self is able to emerge. So it's not like that was me and that wasn't me, and now this really is me. It's not about pinning down a me. It's about the self being in this process of being born. Right. Does that help? Yeah. I would say, just to refine that sentence, that the main place of spiritual life is in self. That realm of self. And not as a static thing at all, but as a dynamic, moving entity. ולא הרגשות קטנות בלבד עוברות בו, ונאבדות מתוך חוסר יכולת הסתכלות. And when we're engaged in this kind of interaction, this kind of way of experiencing, so then these small or more mild feelings are no longer just passing through us and being washed away and disappearing. Oh, sorry. I was mistranslating. It's not just that we have small glimmers of feelings that we miss. It's not just that we're missing out on, oh, I could have felt something much more profound, but since I didn't know how to pay attention to it, it got lost. Entire mitzvot shlemot, a whole, whole mitzvah, whole mitzvot. The English is awkward, but let me say it in a more just kind of colloquial way. It's not just you're missing out on getting in touch with your feelings. You're missing out on your religion. Okay? You're missing out on your performance and the way you live in sport. And I think he has to say this. He's saying this first of all because it's obviously part of the picture here, but he's also saying it because I think another one of the reasons that I would not take his advice is like, okay, so I feel less. Who wants to feel that stuff anyway? And he's kind of saying like, you don't get to choose where and when to feel. You don't get to choose. Oh, I want to feel when I'm being really religious and holy, but I don't want to feel when I'm walking down the street and something's wrong. You don't get to pick and choose like that. You don't get to bifurcate your personal inner life and your religious life. The whole thing here is how do I become a whole being? And how can Torah become something that brings that process out? I'll say it outside. I'm not going to go for another book off the shelf. Maybe next week I'll bring it prepared. But he says in Derech HaMelech, in one of the drashot there, that this whole idea that there's 600,000 letters in the Torah and 600,000 souls of Bnei Yisrael. This is kind of like a drashic idea that we have. I think if you count them, it doesn't quite work that way, but that's the concept. But the totality of letters of Torah and the totality of souls are somehow equivalent. So he says there, we're not just saying that the numbers add up. Oh, look, there's as many as those as those. He says what the meaning of that statement is that the Torah and mitzvot, is that the Yisrael, the nefashot, the neshamot of Yisrael, that the souls are the ikar of the Torah, are the ikar of the letters. The purpose, the main identity, the main essence of the letters of the Torah are those 600,000 souls. And that the Torah and mitzvot are the outward paths to bringing out those nishmat Yisrael, to revealing and uncovering the people who are the essential identity of the Torah. It does. We'll look at it maybe tomorrow, next week, and I'll just bring it a couple of lines. That will not do justice. But what I say, because here he's saying, you're not just missing out on your feelings. You're missing out on God. You're missing out on Torah. You're missing out on Torah.
It feels a lot like, I don't remember if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, where the Rebbe said that don't focus so much on saying the perfect kavanah before you do every mitzvah, but feel the way that you're feeling.
Be in a state of feeling.
Right.
Right. Yes, exactly. He's building bridges for us between me and what I call the world of holiness. Yeah.
And you're always feeling.
Right.
You're always feeling. You're not always paying attention.
We're also not always doing mitzvah, but we're always feeling. Okay. Yirgish ma b'kirbo v'yafshalo lihitrakez u'etzayer v'ladad ma higish. Now he's talking in the realm of mitzvot. I might feel something within me, but it's impossible for me to focus or to imagine or to know what it is that I'm feeling. I don't know how to tell that difference, how to connect. What is the feeling on the night of Yom Kippur versus, as opposed to that feeling on Rosh Hashanah, as the feeling on Pesach? I'm kind of just living my spiritual life in autopilot too. Like, okay, I just walk through all the doors of holiness here without knowing what door. And this is part of the beautiful thing here. It's not that we're not feeling. We just don't know what to do with our feeling. We're numb to it. We're numb to it, and we're also unskilled. It kind of touches us as this very sort of gentle, mild little thing. And since we don't know what to do with it, we kind of say, okay, pass the soup. Right?
It becomes routine, becomes a rote. You know, that you do this every year. You're doing this for your whole life. And so basically after a while it becomes routine. So I know people who think that way.
Mhm.
I don't think that way. But people who go through the motions, you know, and they don't know why they're doing it, but they just do it because it says to do it.
So part of what he's saying, that's true about everything.
Of course.
It's not just the special merit of Torah mitzvot to go on autopilot. That's true of everything. That we stop paying attention. We stop paying attention.
Marriage is like that too. So.
Everything. So we're therefore cautioning you. Thank you. Lamed et atzmecha v'histakel. Teach yourself, train yourself to watch, see. Uvichlal, and in general, in all areas. Tihiyeh leish shemechapes et Hashem b'chol makom. Ulai yimatzeh et ha'el mistater. Ve'kedushat kvodo. In general, in all areas, become a person, make yourself a person who seeks out God in every place. Maybe you'll find that God who is hiding. Ve'kedushat kvodo, and the holiness of God's glory. And when you seek God, you will find God.
And look on you.
But God's not going to find you without you doing it. The whole thing here is that it's. Let me read on here, then I'll respond. Eifo timtzeh. And where are you going to find God? This is already an answer to what you're saying. Becha, within you. Uvechol svivotecha, and in all of your environment, all of your surroundings. This is, in a sense, part of what we talked about last week of this. On the one hand, with time, we have this concept of hastarat panim. God's face is more and more hidden. The holiness is less and less obvious to us. Our spiritual sensitivities and sensibilities and constructs and beliefs, the structures are all not so solid or not what they were before. So on the one hand, there's this sense of like, well, where is God to be found? I need to know. Because I look at the books and it doesn't do it for me, and I go, sure, and it doesn't do it for me, and maybe it does, maybe I feel it like once in a blue moon. And part of what the redemptive quality of that is that the more that the sense of holiness and sense of where is God to be found is lost in the external structures, it moves more and more into the inner experience. It moves more and more into that. That is where God is to be found. There's actually, I think I may have found this in an awesome Malbim, where it's really just explaining the words of the Navi. I think it's in the Yahweh. I'm taking one of the prophets that basically this whole description that you have the third Beit HaMikdash, the temple of the future, and he basically says like, what's going to be the Aron Kodesh? What's going to be the Holy Ark? It's going to be the body of the person. What's going to be that? He goes into the description that the vessels of the Mikdash being the parts of the human being. That we will, v'shachanti b'tocham. That the initial drive of creating a home for God is for God to dwell within us. And so we don't have an address or a phone number or even a line of contact that goes outside of us. It's an inner tunnel. The portal is in there. אבל לתכלית זו צריך אתה להתרחק מן המהירות, הרחק. For this goal, to reach this purpose, you need to distance yourself from rushing far, far away. Harchek. Remove. Ki ein hamehir mitbonen, because someone who's rushing cannot look inside, cannot mitbonen, cannot contemplate. But on the other hand, also be careful with your nefesh, that your nefesh does not reach, that you don't move in your slowness to its end extreme, to not reach a place of inactivity, of depression, of losing the drive, laziness. Last piece is kind of tricky, right? That's kind of slow down and not too much.
Slow down and move too fast.
Slow down and not too like slow down, move away from rushing very, 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 very much. Not too like what's going on here? You know what's going on here? I think maybe the words are the Yishamer b'nafshecha. Is you know we have to track where we are. It's not on the one hand, yeah. In order to be in touch and aware with what is going on inside of us, we can't just be in the hubbub of all the stuff we got to do and all the things that are moving and how fast we have to be. We can't rush and do that at the same time. Let's just take an example of davening. You can't quickly say all the words of prayer and also be in touch with what's happening inside. You just doesn't work. Ein hamehir mitbonen. Someone who's rushing isn't meditating. And
If you daven too slowly, if I daven too slowly, if I like spend too much time reflecting, I'll get lost where I am. And,
you may fizzle out.
Right.
You can lose touch that way too. Mm-hmm. You can lose touch by being too slow with yourself. Mm-hmm. And I think part of the awareness we need to keep is also track, like, where am I? Am I doing it? Am I in this dynamic process, or am I falling into a different kind of autopilot, which is like being a spiritual person? Mm-hmm.
Really engaged in this.
Right. Mm-hmm. I'm a little conflicted, but we have 15 minutes. I'll read here and we'll see like if there's what the Rebbe now does is he's going to describe in a very vivid way what he's talking about. Okay? Yeah.
Coincidentally.
Okay.
I was just waiting for an hour for somebody.
Okay. What you gotta do? Okay. For example, you're sitting at Shalashudis, the third Shabbat meal among a group of Hasidim. Do you really not feel anything at that time? הצדיקים אמרו ששעת שלוש סעודות היא השעה של יפה שעה אחת בתשובה ומעשים טובים בעולם הזה. כל חיי עולם הבא. Our teachers say that the time of the third meal of Shabbat epitomizes that moment that's described by Chazal. One moment of coming close to God and goodness in this world is more beautiful than all of the life of the world to come. This is the tzaddikim teach us that's Shalosh Shabbos. That's the third meal of Shabbos. That's the moment. Kvod Kocho Chonim is quoting his father-in-law, Shamati, Shamagi Mikushnet Samar B'Shalosh Suudot Shaya B'Pchinat Tzadikim Yoshvim V'Yitzrotem B'Vashem V'Nehenim Miziv Hashchina. At the time of the third meal is like the quality that the rabbis explain the future time when the righteous are sitting around with the crowns upon their heads, basking in the light of God's presence. Do you not taste anything, do not feel anything? There's a time, a moment that's more sublime, more beautiful than all of the life of the world to come, passing through you, passing by you, and you don't know it or feel it. Now, just take a step back. Maybe not all of us do a Shal Shudders with Chassidim, with friends, with our soul family, but maybe we should. These once in a while. But let's go with them. Certainly, again, why would I say, yeah, I don't feel anything Shal Shudders? He's saying it's for sure, it's your Atzlut that's seducing you once again. Now, Atzlut means laziness, but it's not the kind of laziness we think, because listen to what he says laziness is. I'm not on the level of those holy people. Meaning, why would I say, yeah, sure, Shudders, okay, I'm to understand when Shabbos is almost over. I don't feel anything special. Okay, it's a holy time. But I'm not on the level of those people who feel holy things and think holy things. That's what he calls it. I want to make this point clear because this term laziness is something that is really self-defeating. And Atzlut here is basically the self-defeating voice that says, well, it's not for me. I'm not on that level. It's impossible for me. It's not me to have a feeling. That kind of answer, he says, that response, I've already told you many times, that is what we call the evil inclination. That's the Yetzer Hara. Is the voice that says, I can't be on the level of holy people. It's not for me. What? False humility. Hashem yitbarach malchuto b'kol mashalah. God is everywhere. If those holy people experienced and delighted in God's holy presence in the quality of the head, meaning at the top floor, if you will, you at the very least can feel it on the level of the heels, or maybe even the heels of the heels. Don't disregard you yourself because of where you're holding. If the tzaddikim are explaining something from having a close-up view, don't think that you're far away, that your distant view isn't a view. You certainly also feel shalosh sudot. Gam libcha umochacha mitma'anim umizda'azim mikol ra'am hagalgal. Your heart and your mind are moving and shaking from the thundering voice of the wheel. Galgalei hamerkava she'ovim derech nafshecha. The wheels of the Merkava, the godly chariot, that are passing through your nefesh, through your soul. He's not. The thing is, when you read, he's not just being poetic. He really believes this. He really believes this. That the true identity of those things that we may even feel in the most faintest little way. Okay, so that's where you are right now. But I want to tell you what it is that's causing it. What we're missing is the ability to watch, to look, to meditate on it. And the thunder and the sound are being lost and exhausted within you, to the point where you almost don't even know that Hashem Elokecha ba. Hashem, your God, is coming, or is approaching you with the whole crowds of angels. Kol ish tzarich listakel kefi matzav. Every single person needs to contemplate, needs to develop this inner observation, this inner way of paying attention. Kefi matzav, on our own level. On our own level. How do I observe what's going on with them? And again, observing isn't cognitive, it's not visual, it's letting the feelings be felt. Be holding them. ההסתכלות פשוטה בשלוש סעודות למשל היכך. So now the Rebbe is basically going into, he's going to describe now for us it's the form of like a guided imagery, a visualization of what the Shalosh Seudos experience. If you want to, you can just close your eyes and listen to the words. You don't have to. But just let the words sink in. Just here, let's go with them. Okay. Avra alecha Shabbat. Shabbat's passed. Is gone. The whole Shabbat is gone. We've gone through the whole Shabbat. Yom kulosha kusha. A day that's completely filled with holiness. Mina shamayim kitshu otcha. V'gam ata kidash et atzmecha b'yom zeh. Heaven has made you holy on this day, and you too have sanctified yourself on this day. Lo asachta b'mitzcharcha. You didn't deal with any of your business. Lo tialta b'shvakim v'rechavot. You didn't go to the store, to the market, to the streets that you usually walk through. Lo hikalta et roshcha. You weren't just joking around all day. Yeshavta. Hitpodadata b'incha v'inkomecha. You sat and hitpodadu in intimate company with your Creator. O yachad im chaverecha asachta b'torah u'v'siach shel kedusha v'chassidut. Or maybe together with friends of yours, you dealt in Torah, conversations of holy things, of Chassidut. Ibasta et atzmecha mikol avak v'ketem shalu alecha b'chol hashavua. You cleansed yourself from all the dust, any stain that arose upon you throughout the week. V'hishtadalta lavo ad nafshecha she'azavta v'rachakta mimena b'chol yemot hachol. And you strove to come until your soul that you abandoned and distanced from, and grew distant from all the days of the week. At every passing moment you felt that you were moving from one state to the next. From one level of holiness to a greater level of holiness. Mirom Kitzor Shel Shabbat, until you arrived at the third meal, the high point of Shabbat. Rava Daravim, it's called in Aramaic, the Ratzon HaRatzonot, the time of desire of all desires, the will of wills. Su'udahi Migimel Su'udot, it's another of the three meals. Aval Mergish Ata Shekvar Eina Makom B'Matzar Ata L'Svoa B'Basar HaBagim. You feel already that this isn't the time or place to fill myself with meat and fish. Rather to seek out the hidden God, the God who's hiding in you, that hidden glorious place, and to be satiated from God's light. You're sitting with your friends who are likewise seeking God's face. You're sitting in the darkness. The Hasidic monarchy sit in darkness. Minhagei Yisrael Torehem. The customs of Am Yisrael are themselves Torah. They align the activities of the body to the state of the soul in those moments. Because there's darkness and there's darkness. Different kinds of darkness. About God it says that God dwells in the place of darkness. Or amitivu. That darkness in which God dwells is true light. V'choshechu min ha'olam hazeh. Rather, it's darkness from the vantage point of this world. So that's why we're sitting in the dark at Shabbat. Enter into that darkness. Lo olam v'lo divrei ha'olam yu'im kvar. We're already not seeing anymore the world or the things of the world. וכיוון שזה מעיד לעד שלם שאתה מתרחק מן העולם הזה מתקרב את הפסיעה אחר פסיעה ובחינת רב ודרבי נתון העליון. Since it's been a whole 24 hours that you've stepped step after step away from being entrenched in this worldliness and closer to the Rava Deravin, the highest desire and will. במוחך ובלבך אף בחושי גופך. In your mind, in your heart, even in your bodily senses. מוכרח גם גופך בפועל ממש לשבת בחושך. Your body itself needs to ממש sit in God. גם לבך. וגם עיניך לא יראו כבר עולם בדברי העולם. Your heart, your eyes, you're already not seeing anymore a world. Hashem מסתתר בחושך. God is hiding there in the dark. ואחר חיפוש ובדיקה שבכל השבת באת אל הערפל אשר שם אלוקים. After the search and the seeking of the entire Shabbat, you've approached that fog in which God dwells, the cloud in which God is. ביקשת ומצאת את שהרה נפשך. You've sought and you found the one who your soul loves. מתקרבת היא אליו ונמסת בקדושתו. She, your soul, is coming close to God and melting in God's holiness. כל החדר מלא מפמליה שמאלה, the whole room is filled with the angels of above, ואתה דוחק את עצמך דרך כל הפמליה הקדושה, הקודש הקודשים. And you're pushing yourself through all of those crowds of angels to the innermost holy place. וישתוקקת נפשך להיכנס לפני ולפנים. Your soul is thirsting to enter inward and inward, ולבוא אל המקום אשר שם אלוקים, אחסתי ולא אלקנו. To arrive at the place where God is, I'll hold on and not let go. ולו ידעת כי תישאר כן גם תמיד, אז הייתה נפשך שמחה שמחת עולמים. If you were to know that, it will always be like this forever, so your soul would be rejoicing at eternal happiness. Avanis karta, but you remembered something. Shiba'od regel yadliku neirot. In just another moment, the lights are going to turn on again. Tavdil, like Havdalah. Vishuv tipoli motachol, and once again you're going to fall into the days of the week. Benafshecha mara lacha. Your soul is bitter. איך תיפול מן חושך שמיים על פני תואר וחושך מצרים חשכת הצלות. How can I fall from that heavenly darkness, those clouds of purity, to the darkness of Mitzrayim, of Egypt, the darkness of those narrowness of suffering, tzarat haguf v'hanefesh kam yachad, the pain of the body and the soul together. Tir'ad v'targish, you tremble and you feel. Et shteihen ata margish ata. You're feeling both of these things. Ketz hayamin v'ketz hayamin. Mirom kitzo shel haktusha v'ketz nemichut shel achol. You're feeling the end of days and the end of days. The end and the end. The height of holiness and the end point of the lowness of the weak. Hatre gavne shachashocha, the two hues of darkness, nevakim ata becha b'shalosh sudot. They're grappling and wrestling within you at the third one. And what he's doing here, he's talking about what it means the hachiv et hagasha. What does it mean to expand the feeling that he's talking about? It's not just like, great, shalshudas, I love it, I'm happy, but no, you feel the bitterness too. The bitterness too. You feel it all. That's what he said. The height of kusha and the lowness of weak, they're both, you taste it together. This can be compared to a king's child who was decreed to be sent away from his father, and to be sent into a prison. So in that last final moment before the son is separated from his father, he brings himself even closer. He pushes to come close. Grabs on and hugs his father. He's longing and delighting. And from the soul's delight, that deep pleasure, and from its fear, so eket hanefesh mima'amakim gam ki elech beget samavet lo yilara ki atayim adi. The soul screams from the deepest place. Even when I walk in the valley of death's shadow, I shall not be afraid of evil, because you, God, you're with me. What is the song we sing in Shalosh? It's more better. This is what we're singing about. Your hands are almost shaking and seeking. You're with me. I want to grab onto you and not let go. Notice, observe, watch deeply. All of this is passing through your soul, but you're not watching it. You're not meditating on it, and you're not aware of it. Is it really possible that in that state of being, it wouldn't leave an impression on you the whole week? Read to the end of the paragraph. The truth is, this method, this practice of hitbonenut, of this kind of inward looking, it's enough. That's all you need. If you are to contemplate and look deeply into all of the feelings that pass through you, what that means is that you will be looking in the face of every angel of heaven. Those levels, those godly aspects that are passing through your heart, through your soul. But what he's doing here is what we can see here, he's translating all of the talk of spiritual reality to what is going on internally. What's going on those most basic felt levels. Remember what we saw? You want to know what the kavanot are, the mystical names of God? What do you feel when you say God? Feel it. You do it. If you practice this, it will be enough to become an ish haruach, a person that's Baal machshavat Torah, somebody with a clear awareness. That the kind of higher consciousness will be revealed within you, to be able to see only holiness and ruchaniyut and spirit. Kvod Hashem shemaleh shemelo chol haaretz, the glory, the honor of God that fills the earth. Part of why he's saying this is just in context. He's taught a whole lot of things. He's saying like this, what I just told you is enough. Stop the book here. I gave you something. But since within us there are many senses, many capabilities, and all of them, all the parts of us need to be activated for God. And we need to hug God with all of the limbs of our soul. So for that reason, we're going to talk more. I'm going to write the rest of this book. Tell you other ways, other things you do about developing your awareness. Yeah, we read it like we went through it pretty quickly. You know, there's a lot here that we covered. You know. I guess I'm curious if anybody has like short response, something that touched on you or thought that it was a question or something.
The full embodied experience of spiritual life.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What are the guns? You're saying whatever happens to come to you, whatever you encounter.
That bring a sense of pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Feelings that can bring breath,
Mm-hmm.
concern,
All encompassing.
they're all.
Yeah.
And by denying one of it, the other will deny.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a breathtaking picture that he paints of what to actually see the moments leading up to Havdalah are for him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yet, I mean, it's such vivid imagery and such like powerful language to describe that moment. And it made me react in the way that he just warned us right before not to react, which was to think I could never feel that whole way in that moment, right? I could never have such the ability to grasp the life in such a moment, and so I want to try to remember the warning that he said about that, which was that just the bit that I can, right? To not fall into that trap of saying I can't feel that way.
The
right?
warning is real. We need it. We need to be told.
Yeah.
I can add to it. Like, also, like, I really like is that like don't disregard yourself, saying that you can feel it and like feel that wholeness because the access is within you. So we all have it.
Mm-hmm.